So it's that time of year again where we take a look at some of the best video game Easter eggs and hidden details of 2025. As always, I'm going to limit things to one Easter egg and one detail per game, just to add some variety, and of course, most of these will have been seen on the channel before. But you can't expect me to make a video of the best Easter eggs and details and not include stuff I've already covered. As always, I'd love to hear what your favourite Easter egg or hidden detail of 2025 was, so let me know in the comments, and without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin with one of my favourite games of 2025. And the game itself isn't even finished yet. Now, in Schedule 1, you can choose to add all kinds of things to your product to create new and addictive strains. These can range from a humble can of kook all the way through to horse semen. Yes, really. Well, if you take any strain of weed and mix it with Viagra, you'll get the Tropic Thunder strain. And if you're curious as to what this does, allow me to demonstrate. So Tropic Thunder will turn anyone who smokes it black, which as far as side effects go, is pretty extreme. Now this race swapping strain is actually a reference to the excellent 2008 movie Tropic Thunder, where Robert Downey Jr. played an actor who got so into his roles that when cast to play a black man, he changed the colour of his skin.
What do you mean, you people?
It's a great Easter egg that references an equally great movie. Now Death Stranding 2 is a Hideo Kojima game, which means that it's not only full of Easter eggs and secrets, but also details that 99% of people won't even notice. Here, take a look at how Sam throws this container. So that's a pretty decent throw. Well, let's see how far he can throw using his left hand. So the distance that Sam can throw things depends on which hand he's using, with his right hand being his dominant hand, meaning that he throws a lot further when compared to his left. I don't know about you, but I think this is really unnecessary, but also really clever. Now you'll be pleased to learn that the Death Stranding 2 Easter egg that I've decided to include isn't the nightmare-inducing scene of Higgs and Sam getting to know each other better. It is instead Hideo Kojima being Hideo Kojima. When resting in a hot spring, Sam can gaze at the stars and spot various different constellations. Most of these make sense. Well, they make sense in the world of Death Stranding, but one of them does stand out. So in the night sky, you can spot the face of Death Stranding creator Hideo Kojima. I mean, at this point, this really shouldn't be a surprise. So to prove how quickly time flies, I'm going to take this moment to remind you that Atomfall released this year, which is wild to me as it feels like I played it ages ago. Anyway, Atomfall was another 2025 release that has loads of Easter eggs to find. But I think my personal favourite was a nod to a British classic. At this location on the map, you can find this. So, perched on top of a hill is a skeleton riding a yellow Mini Cooper in a way that would definitely break multiple traffic laws. Now, if you're from the UK, you probably recognised what this was a reference to straight away. But if you didn't, this rebel driver is actually a nod to Mr. Bean and this iconic scene. Now, if you've ever played a fantasy RPG before, you've probably killed hundreds if not thousands of trolls, and not given it a second thought. Well, it's worth remembering that trolls have feelings too. In Oblivion Remastered, if you go to this location on the map, you can find this. So, under a bridge you can find a dead troll, which is a little bit cliched, but what can you do? Well, if you take a closer look at the troll, you can find a note written by the creature, which explains that the troll was having a crisis of confidence, as nobody was paying the toll to cross his bridge. The troll thinks that it's because he's not scary enough, so he decides to drown his sorrows before drowning in the river, which is kind of sad. So next time you face off against a troll, make sure they're emotionally okay first, and then, kill them or whatever. Now, despite removing a lot of stuff that made the games great, the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake was still pretty good in its own right. I mean, even if they did remove the career mode from Tony Hawk 4, and that's the part that made the game so good by the way, they did give us something in return. On the Skater Island level, you can find this. So we might not have the actual career mode of Tony Hawk 4, but we do have Bikini Bottom, which is complete with the homes of SpongeBob, Patrick and Squidward. Admittedly, there isn't really much to do here, but if it's between Bikini Bottom and an actual Tony Hawk 4 remaster, I know which one I'm choosing. And yeah, it's Tony Hawk 4 done right. So there is a fine line between an Easter egg or a reference and just straight up stealing someone's intellectual property. I mean, some companies are more hot on this than others, but if there was one company that I wouldn't want to test, it's Nintendo, who seem to call the lawyers if someone even dares look in their direction. That's why I was so surprised by the Wayward Gun quest in Borderlands 4. You see, this quest tasks you with taking down a bunch of AI guns that have gone rogue. It's soon revealed that killing the guns doesn't do anything and you're better off catching them. How many of them do you have to capture? Well, this many.
So what's the minimum of these I need to catch?
Gotta catch them in their entirety.
So you've got to catch them all. Catch them in their entirety. Well, it turns out that you're not the only person on the quest to be the very best like no one ever was, as Josie and Jake from Bomb Squad are after the guns too.
The pain zone is close, and it's a double dose. Spreading hatred and fear, and getting all the best gear. Okay, that's enough. Hand those TDOs over. Yeah, the bomb squads don't ask twice.
Now, I'm sure this is already obvious, but for the 6 or 7 of you that don't get it, this quest is a reference to Pokemon, with Josie and Jake from Bomb Squad being a reference to Jesse and James from Team Rocket.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double.
Did I include this Easter egg because I'm a giant Pokemon nerd who still collects the cards? Well, yeah, but I also included it because it is a great Easter egg. Now, in Peak, you have to climb some pretty high mountains, which can get lonely, and that's why it's always good to bring a friend. Here's the thing, if you do bring a friend, that means everything has to be shared. And let me tell you, half a bar of chocolate only goes so far. Well, if you do find yourself feeling really, really hungry, there is a solution. You see, when your hunger bar gets to a certain point, your trusty friend will take on a whole new look. So your friend will turn into a turkey, and a tasty looking turkey at that. In fact, they look so tasty that you can do this. So you can choose to eat your friend, who despite looking like a turkey, definitely wasn't a turkey. In my opinion, this is peak co-op gaming.
He said it!
Now, have you ever watched a video game cutscene and wondered who exactly is in charge of the camera? Well, a lot of you probably haven't, but if you wanted to know anyway, look no further than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Early on in the game, you stumble across a bunch of merry maidens doing some washing and having a sing-song. Well, if you install a free cam mod that can be used in cutscenes, you can see that you're not the only ones watching the women. So we can see that the women are actually being filmed by a whole crew with cameras and microphones. Now, like I said, to actually see this Easter egg requires a mod, which already makes it hard to find. But the fact that the FreeCam mod has to work in cutscenes, something that a lot of FreeCam mods don't do, makes this Easter egg even better. So one of my surprise games of 2025 was find 100 ducks and blast them. The game is as simple as it sounds. You have to find 100 ducks and you do have to blast them. But it's such a chill game that I really enjoyed it. Now, on your duck hunting journey, you can run into this dog, who being the good boy that he is, provides you with another duck to blast. Well, if that duck didn't satiate your bloodlust, you could always try shooting the dog. That would make you a monster, but let's try it just to see what happens. So if you keep trying to do the unthinkable and shoot the dog, the game will eventually just kick you back to the main menu. which is probably the least you deserved. Now, on the garage roof of the duck-infested house, you can find a sniper rifle pointed towards a mountain. And looking at this screen, we can see that someone appears to be up there. But if you aim really carefully, you can do this. I don't know what kind of person it makes me, but I'd rather shoot this guy than the poor old doggo any day of the week. Now, 2025 saw the Five Nights at Freddy's series team up with Dead by Daylight, and it was pretty damn cool. Being able to explore the pizzeria in DBD was awesome, and the map was full of cool details and Easter eggs, but my personal favourite was found in the maintenance room. Here you can find the heads of a couple of the animatronics, presumably awaiting repairs. Well, it turns out that these heads may not be as broken as you might think. So the eyes of Freddy and Bonnie will follow your character as they move, which is really cool. I love it when games do this because it's so easy to miss. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know that I love cleaning and renovating games, so even something as random as cleaning up buses to sell them on usually gets me going. Well, in Bus Flipper, not only can you clean buses, but you can find this. So, opening the toilet reveals a picture of Shrek whilst a whistly rendition of Smash Mouth's All-Star plays in the background. Sitting dangerously close to the rim is Gingy the Gingerbread Man, though you can pick him up and take him with you because this is no place for a tasty snack. So Twisted Gallery is a game about walking through a very creepy art gallery and trying to spot things out of the ordinary, though this next Easter egg makes that job very easy. Oh, and be warned, this Easter egg is not only awesome, but it features a lot of flashing lights. So if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, skip to the next game. I did say it was awesome. Anyway, this disco cat is a reference to a cat named Ethel that went viral a few years back, and it's the best Easter egg in the game. So, from a dancing disco cat to a simple door. But for people of a certain age, this door will trigger some serious nostalgia. In the Talos Principle Reawakened, you can find this. So this door seems really out of place amongst the temple ruins, and that's because it's the same door seen in Monsters Inc., and more specifically, it's Boo's door. Like I said, this Easter egg will probably trigger some serious nostalgia. Now, the Dying Light games have always had brilliant Easter eggs, and Dying Light the Beast was no different, but the reason I chose this next Easter egg is because it's like 4 Easter eggs in one. If you head to this location on the map, you can find platform 9 3/4, which is of course a nod to Harry Potter. Now, in the Harry Potter universe, people just ran straight through the wall at this particular platform, and you can do that in the Beast, though what's on the other side will surprise you. So passing through the wall will see you greeted by Minecraft-style blocks, which can be destroyed with the swing of a weapon, which is really cool. So that's 2 Easter eggs already, but there's still 2 more to find. As you explore the zombie-filled tunnels, you can find this. So this golden train is impressive. I mean, it's a golden train, but at first I thought it wasn't a reference to anything. Except it is. You see, this train is a reference to an urban legend that Nazis hid a train loaded with golden treasure during the final days of World War II. It's a cool story and one that many people have investigated over the years, but so far no actual sign of the train has been found. Anyway, that was Easter egg number 3, and Easter egg number 4 is the best of the lot. This is the last hand of Glover, and you might be wondering what it does. Well, allow me to demonstrate. So if you've played any of the previous Dying Light or Dead Island games, then you'd already be familiar with Glover, as it's appeared in some form in previous Techland developed games before. Glover actually left Techland in 2024, and this was the last Easter egg that they added to the game, and that's why it's called The Last Hand of Glover. Now, we've already seen a couple of games reference memes in this video, but I think that Expedition 33 references one of the most recognisable memes of all time. So despite being surrounded by fire, this guy seems pretty chill. When you speak to the surprisingly calm chap, he will say this. So despite the fire raging around him, he simply says this is fine, which is a reference to the this is fine meme that I'm sure that most of you have seen before.
This is fine.
Right, the final Easter egg for my best of 2025 might just be my favourite of the year. In Ghost of Yotei, you can take on the Last Brother bounty, which, as you might have guessed from the name, sees you hunting down the last of 4 mercenary brothers. When you do arrive at the last known location of the brother, you can find 3 graves, one with blue flowers, one with red flowers, and one with purple flowers. Before we can take a closer look, we're interrupted by our target, the 4th brother, and despite telling him that we're not looking for a fight, he doesn't take no for an answer. Soon, you're both interrupted by bounty hunters, and after taking them out together, the brother soon realises that you're just chill like that. He then explains that the reason a bounty was placed on him in the first place is because he was actually doing good, which the people doing bad didn't like. Hearing this, Atsu decides to let him go, but not before digging a grave so that she can say he's dead and claim the bounty. I mean, business is business. Anyway, the flowers on this grave are a yellowy orange. Okay, so they're more yellow, but work with me. So that's 4 brothers with 4 coloured graves. And if it wasn't already obvious, these are purple for Donatello, red for Raphael, blue for Leonardo, and orangey yellow for Michelangelo. This whole quest was based off the Last Ronin TMNT comic book series, which saw one of the turtles avenging his fallen brothers. Video game developers, if you're going to reference the turtles, stop chucking pizza boxes in the sewers and do things like this. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, as I think it helps quite a bit. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. If you want more video game Easter eggs every single week, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to get your hands on some gamer subs, make sure you scan the QR code on screen or use my link in the description to get yourself 10% off. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.